Hello everyone. So today we're going to talk about sequences, and I know probably this slide, it looks a little bit confusing, but I will try to explain what everything means to you, or how we describe and learn to solve arithmetic and geometric sequence. So arithmetic sequence, you will see the highlight words down here, down on your formula sheet. Is the first one is arithmetic sequence, and when we talk about arithmetic sequence is every time when we talk about addition and subtraction. So first thing, whenever you're having addition or subtraction as a pattern between the numbers, it means you're supposed to use arithmetic sequence formula, which is very you should be very familiar with, because it's y equals mx plus b, or f of x equals mx plus b, the same thing. The difference between linear function is that, and that is, you need to know what m, b, and x stays for. So when we talk about arithmetic sequence, I want you to look it up here, and we have y equals mx plus b. So now, please write down, this is really important, and definitely you should have this on your formula sheet. M will be the common difference between the first two terms on the pattern, and for now just put the definitions. I will show you how to get the whole practice and the final answer. So M will be the common difference, X will be nth term, so this is nth term of the sequence, or the one that we're looking for. Nth term, the term we don't know, we're looking for. And B will be the first term of the sequence. So this is all about arithmetic. Now when we talk about geometric sequence, is this one. I want you to have this multiplication and division here. Okay. So geometric sequence is always the one we're using when we have multiplying or dividing in the sequence. So from first term to the second term, if we go by, and the pattern is the number we will get in the pattern is by multiplying or dividing, then we're using geometric sequence. So y equals a times b to the power of x is a stays for the first term of the sequence, b will be the common ratio, so b is the common ratio of the sequence, and I will show you how to calculate the common ratio, and x will be the last term minus 1. So it's always the last term we're looking for, minus 1. So once you have written down this, I will also have it on my formula sheet, so if you need to see it additionally, that will be okay. For now, I'm gonna just stick to this and move on to the actual example, so you can see how to get arithmetic and geometric sequence calculations. Okay, so first example, talking about sequence, and we're having arithmetic sequence. Describe the pattern and then find the seventh term. So I want you to look through the pattern of those numbers, and I want you to tell me, if I have -7, then -3, then 1, then 5, how do I get from -7 to -3? How do we get from -3 to 1, and how do we get from 1 to 5? So are we adding, subtracting some numbers, multiplying, or dividing? And some of you probably already have the answer and they say, yeah, we're adding 4. That's true, because -7 plus 4 is -3. -3 plus 4 will give you 1, and 1 plus 4 will give you 5. So because of this plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, we know that we're using arithmetic sequence. How about the second one? From 17 to 13, we go by subtracting 4. 13 to 9, we're going by subtracting 4. 9 to 5, we subtract 4. So that's what we call pattern. The pattern and the sequence, because we're doing the same operation over and over again. So now, this is what we call common difference or common ratio. So if I'm using y equals mx plus b, we said that the common ratio will be m. So m is equal to 4 here. Then b is the very first term of the sequence, which is -7. And then x will be the term we're looking for, and that's the 7th term. So x will be 7. So the common ratio will be 4, b is the first term, and x is 7 minus 1. Okay, so we subtract x minus 7 minus 1. That's how we get this term in order to get the calculation of the 7th, which is 6. So let's go ahead and substitute. Y will be equal to m is 4 times x is 6, then minus 7. So y will be equal 6 times 4, or 4 times 6 will be 24, minus 7, which is 17. So if we continue the sequence, the 7th term here will be 17. And you can definitely, add 4, 4, 4 and kind of check and see if that will be the right answer. Okay, well, let's take a look of the second one. So I'm going to use actually black color here. Okay, and let's write this. So m here is -4. This is the common difference. Then b is the first term, which is 17. And then x will be, again, 7 minus 1. The 7th term minus 1, which is 6. Okay, so we're going to substitute all those numbers into the arithmetic sequence formula. And we will get minus 4 times 17, and then, this will be times 6. 6, and then minus or plus 17, because this is b and b is 17. So y is equal -4 times 6 will be -24 plus 17. So y is equal to -7. So if we continue here, 5 minus 4 will be 1, 1 minus 4 we will get -3, and -3 minus 4 will be -7. So that will be the 7th term of the sequence, -7. Okay, well, let's take a look at another example. So next example, describe the pattern and find the 7th term again. Alright, so what is the pattern here? From 3 to 1 we get by subtracting -2. From 1 to -1, same thing. 1 to -3, same thing. So -2 is always m, right? m is -2. This is the common difference in y equals mx plus b form. Then we gotta find what b is, and b is always the first term of the pattern. So the first term of the pattern here is +3, and x will be the 7th term minus 1, which is again 6. So it's always like that. X term you always have to subtract from 1. So the one that you're looking for, -1. It's just how the formula works. So once we have the information, we will go ahead and substitute, and we will write -2 times x is 6 and b is +3. So y will be equal to -12 plus 3. Y is equal -9. So the 7th term here, if we continue subtracting 2 and just continue the pattern, you will see that the 7th term will be -9. I know it's kind of easy sometimes if the term you're looking for is close to the pattern at 7th or even 10th, it may be easy to just keep going and find what the term is equal. But imagine that somebody's asking you about 125th term, then you definitely need to use this formula, otherwise it may take you a couple days until you get to 700 and whatever term. So that's the reason for using this formula. This is all about arithmetic sequence. Now, I want you to take a look of the geometric sequence. So the geometric sequence formula is y is equal to a times b to x. And again, x will be the term we're looking for minus 1. Okay, I just want to add that to remind you and make sure everybody understands that. So a stays for the first term. A will be the first term, in this case is -3. And b is the common ratio. So how do we get the ratio here? Well, if you set up this thing, -6 over -3, the answer -6 over -3 will be 2. Now, -3 times 2 will give you -6. -6 times 2 will give you -12. -12 times 2 will give you -24. So that's how we know b is 2. You put the second term on the top over the first term, and the common ratio of this, as the simplest form, will give you what b is equal to. Then we can just go ahead and substitute. So y is equal to, we have -3 times 2 to the power of seventh term again, so x will be 7 minus 1, which is 6, 2 to the 6th power. And that will be a great example when you have to calculate the exponent first, so it will be -3 times, and I'm going to use the calculator to get what this will be equal, and we have 2 to the power of 6, which is 64, so times 64, so y will be equal to 64 times -3 will give me -194. Okay, so if you keep multiplying by -2 and you get here to the 7th term, you will know that -194 will be the answer. Alright, well, let's try this other one and do the same steps. So first thing, I'm going to put a equals to 16, that's the first term. Then x will be 7 minus 1, which is 6. And then b, how do we get b? So b will be 72 over 216. Okay, now I'm going to type on the calculator 72 divided by 216. And as the simplest form, you can get that on the calculator, will be 1/3. So 1/3 is the simplest form. Then we will substitute, so y is equal to a is 216 times b is 1/3 to the power of 6. So y is equal to 216. We need to know what 1/3 the power of 6 is equal to, and this is 101 over 729. When you multiply this times 216, you will get 8 over 27, the simplest form, and that will be 8 over 27 will be the 7th term here in this sequence. And again, the reason to get fraction is because 216, to get to 72, we have to multiply by 1/3, then 72 times 1/3 will give you 24, 24 times 1/3 will be 8, 8 times 1/3 will give you another answer, and so on. That's how we got the answer here. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful. I'm gonna go through maybe couple more examples, and then we'll working on the worksheet. So let's take a look at the first one. We said a is 16, b, so b will be the common ratio, which is -8 over 16, which is -1/2, and then x will be 7 term, 7 minus 1, so x will be 6. Then I'm going to say y is equal to 16 times -1/2 to the 6th power. So I'm going to just continue solving this example quickly. So we have 16 times on the calculator. I want you to put inside the parentheses -1/2, close the parentheses, and then to the power of 6. That will be 1/64. So we have 16 times 1/64. And the answer for this will be 1/4. So the seventh term of the sequence will be 1/4. Well, thank you for watching the video. All the questions and comments will be discussed in class. Also, keep in mind that Schoology discussion board is open for you guys, and you can always post some questions there. Have a great day.